I have officially played Sonic Frontiers, and I have finished Sonic Frontiers. And I'm going to sit here and share my review of Sonic Frontiers. And I'm probably going to be showing some gameplay. It might not be the best gameplay because, well, this kind of just an accidental recording. So I just kind of stuck with it. But anyway, so I'm going to make this very clear. There will be a lot of spoilers in this video. So if you have not played the game, you do not want to hear spoilers, I suggest you do not watch this video. Play the game, finish it, then come back and watch this video. But anyway, here's what I thought about Sonic Frontiers. Their main advertisement for the game has been the open world. And Sonic Frontiers is the first ever, pretty much the first ever somewhat Sonic open world game where you can quite literally explore anywhere of the island you want. You can go to one side to the other. And it's kind of like Breath of the Wild. That's what people were getting at, but obviously Breath of the Wild just hits different. But Sonic, this open world thing that they did, I will here to tell you that it has been fun. I've actually enjoyed it. Now I heard people saying that it looks kind of stale and all that, and to be honest, I feel like that's what you kind of expect from doing something new. And from World 1 to World 2 to World 3, I've absolutely enjoyed the worlds. World 3, though, the only reason World 3 is probably my least favorite one, but I'll get to that later. But as an open world game, they definitely deliver. And during the open world, again, this is where the spoilers comes in. During the open world, you encounter boss battles, you encounter enemies to beat up, and you also go around collecting what would be these memory tokens or something to continue on your story and to get to the next level each time. So there is definitely a purpose on exploring in the open world. There's definitely a purpose. I believe that for the value they brought into for playing for the open world in Frontier, I think they did a pretty good job there. I will say this though, the last open world, the one thing like World 5, I guess, or technically World 4, if we're gonna be technical, but it's World 5. I didn't really like that one. It kind of had too many. It was kind of like it was a little bit lackluster, but I think it was because of what it turned out to be at the end of the story. Because maybe it wasn't that bad, but I will say there was a lot of bosses. There's a lot of goddamn bosses in the fifth world. And speaking of bosses, I'll get to those. There's many bosses you can encounter in the open world, and honestly, there hasn't really been one boss that I generally got annoyed and hated. All the bosses most of the time has been great. Like I said though, the fifth world, the bosses are kind of like a little annoying, but they're not bad annoying. I prefer the other bosses because the other bosses are fun. Like there's one where you have to climb up to the top, and you got to destroy those little weird pointy things. I don't know the name of it. Then you got the little flying monster that you have to run around, and you got to get so close enough to knock him off his course and beat him up. Then you got the towers, obviously, where you have to aim for the head, ironically enough, and then you also even have those ninja type ones where you have to be aware of what they're doing. You got the world, and that's mainly in World 1. In World 2, you get you fight a shark. You fight a weird. I don't know what a weird not spider. Is it a spider? I don't think it's a spider. But the point is there's been very interesting bosses that you can go around and challenge and fight, and you're guaranteed to have a good time each time, and you get awarded because you get will be these gears or get these weird gears looking things, which I believe is called of mechanical collectibles. That's what they're called. And during the open world, you have to collect keys to get the Chaos Emeralds to go up against the big boss. And I'm gonna say this right now. The main bosses for all the worlds, almost all the worlds, from World 1 to World 3, fat, magnificent bosses. I enjoyed the Giganto boss. I enjoyed the plane boss, the airplane boss. What's the fucking name? The Wyvern. The Wyvern. It's called the Wyvern. Yeah, I remember now. I enjoyed the Wyvern boss, and I even enjoyed the Night one. All those bosses had like a different type of style of fighting, and all of them were entertaining. They're actually pretty somewhat challenging, too. They're pretty challenging at some parts. Like this whole parry thing, which I kind of just found out that you just gonna have to hold it and all that. So the parry thing was kind of but kind of disappointing when I found out. But at the time I didn't know, so it was actually kind of cool every time I parried. But you know, the bosses did deliver, except for the last boss and the last like real world. I say real world because again, here comes the spoilers. In World 4, you're kind of just going up in towers and just you're bringing memories and such. And it was the fifth world where they went back to like the final boss, and that one was it looked cool visually, but very disappointing. More into that later. But anyway, as you can see, the open world definitely is a step forward. I believe if Sega stops being afraid, they can actually deliver with this whole open world tactic, because I believe Sonic is in a position right now where you need to do more 3D, modern-like, and open world type. And I get why they do 2D, because it's like, oh, it's the classic Sonic. You gotta enjoy it. Sonic, that doesn't, in my opinion, I don't think that's not Sonic's flow anymore. That's not his thing anymore, because I'll admit some of the 2D stages are kind of ass. like that's the only thing I hate about the third world was the third open world was that the fact that half of the shit were unnecessarily 2D for no reason. Half of them should not be 2D. And it's like, why are they 2D? But other than that, though, I did enjoy the open world. I think it's definitely something they should pay attention to in the future of Sonic games. Another thing I like is the music. Listen, the music in Sonic never disappoints, but I am going to sit here and tell you this is probably consistently the best Sonic music we had in a while. Like there is screaming in Sonic. If you look at the other Sonic games, you hear like that good techno like rock-like feeling. This is like heavy metal shit right here. Like almost every single boss you're in, like you all of a sudden feel the adrenaline in your body that you're ready to go. You're ready to fight. You're ready to kick ass. Okay, guys, like the first boss, like the first song, Undefeatable, the first Giganto boss, bro. I'm gonna sit here and say that's one of my favorites musics ever, and it could have been number one if it wasn't for the second boss, the Brightening Your Stars, I think it's called, the second world boss. Then the third world boss was good too. The Find Your Flame, whew, Jesus Christ. Breaking Through It All, by the way, is the name of the second one. And I enjoyed the fourth one too, but again, that whole world in there was very disappointing. It was very disappointing. Only thing I will say is not disappointing out of all of them has been well, when you collect the mechanical collectibles, you go to like this world, like not world, but like this like you go to these random like courses. I think it's called courses. Is it called courses? I don't even know. I mistake courses and track all the time. But the point is, you go to oh shit! I dropped my phone. You go to different worlds, different levels. That's the word. Different levels from each world. Like world 1, level world 1 out of 1, level world 2 out of 2, or 1 out of 2. You know, stuff like those. And I will say, there hasn't really been one that I absolutely didn't like. They all were pretty good, especially in the second one. I think the second one where I got my favorite, and the third one, and the fourth one was fine, and the first one was good too. I will say this though, when it comes to this game, I do appreciate the fact that you get awarded for doing what the fuck you're doing, because like, I feel like when it comes to S rank, people will get S rank just for the sake of it, but you don't really. Like you get a war, but it's like doesn't really benefit in during the story. This is different. In this, I don't be wrong about this. I don't play from forward to Sonic games I've seen that hasn't been the case, but this is in this game. You have to get S rank. You have to get a specific amount of rings, and you have to complete the course yourself. Plus, collect the red rings to get the keys, because getting the keys will help you get the Chaos Emeralds. It will help you as you continue on during the story. And I will say this though. For some reason, and I found this out, I thought it was just me, the first world and second world are considered the hardest worlds in the game. I thought I just sucked. No, that's generally what it is. They're pretty damn difficult. They have good music, but they're difficult. Sonic always had good music. I don't think I need to explain, but I just had to highlight the boss's music specifically. But are definitely no, not second. The first world stages of 1 and 2 are definitely a pain in the ass. They definitely are. But other than that, it's not really hard to get S rank moving forward. But like I said, it's great. And I'm gonna start off with one. I'm gonna talk about one negative. There's a couple of negative things I'll get to, but one big negative thing I think the Sega does need to fix is camera angle. Listen, I don't know what we don't know. Listen, if you ever sat down and wondered, did you ever do anything wrong? Apparently you did with this camera angle. It fucking it hates you. It does not want you to have fun. Like that was the only problem. That was like the main problem I had. Like the camera in this game sucks. It is not good. It is definitely not that good. There'll be like times where you're finding bosses and the camera angle will fuck you up, and then it's like, what the fuck did I get? What the fuck just happened, man? But if you can get past that, again, that's like one of the main flaws I had. Now, another, what did I say? No, okay, I won't say this is the flaw, but I'm gonna obviously talk about this because obviously that's been the other main thing about the game. The story mode, the whole story. It started off great, and it continued on to be great. After World 3, though, that's when it started to fall off a cliff. Here's why. Again, spoilers. Get ready. In Sonic, Eggman starts off by doing something to those weird little portal things that take you to another dimension and stuff. And then it happened to Tails and all that. Sonic fell off the plane because Sonic is the only one flying. And everyone else is like trapped in this weird like digital plus reality world where like for example like Amy is like stuck in like a digital form, but you can communicate with Sonic, but you could also communicate with these weird little stones, these Cocos, the Cocos. Which by the way, they're absolutely cute, by the way. The Cocos are great. And the story is basically like Sonic is trying to save his friends, like always. And they introduce a new character named Sage. And she does everything in her power to kill Sonic. There's no two ways about it. She tries to kill Sonic. And the issue, and obviously because it's a Sonic game, it didn't succeed. But that was the main point. And there were times where it's like, oh my god, this is shit got real quick. And again, you have to collect the emeralds and all that to continue the story. And as you continue the story, each character has each Coco had like a personality that kind of fits in the character. Like for example, in the first world, you're trying to help Amy, and one of the Cocos shared something similar to Amy, which is love. It's love. One of the Cocos was looking for her love life. The other one was looking for her kid. They found the kid though, but apparently their spirit got lifted and they died. So I feel like there was a justification from that, but I think they said it's because it was like a sacrifice or I think it's supposed to like a sacrifice, just like, hey, we're gonna be happier in a different dimension, we're gonna be happier in a different world. It's like, I don't know what happened, but apparently being happy means you die. And that happened to the mother Coco with her son, And it happened with the female Coco with the man. Man, in the second, and like I said, you defeat the boss, you become supersonic, you kick some ass, and as a result, you do not, and unfortunately, Amy is rescued. Amy's not fully completed yet. Time to go to the second world. Second world, you encounter Knuckles. Now, Knuckles is a little bit different. Knuckles is in a situation where, obviously, he's all about toughness, all about bringing the tough, protecting the Chaos Emerald that he was supposed to protect, but just wasn't able to at the time. But point is, protection and loyalty. That was the Coco's there. They built a wall. Ironically, and it didn't work. Kind of crazy how twice that a wall was made and it didn't work. The wall, it didn't work. It got destroyed and they're dead. But it was loyalty. The whole point was that it was out of loyalty. You beat the boss and all that. Then you go to the third world where you encounter Tails, and this is where I think when it comes to the story, this is where the story really reached its peak, in my opinion, because I didn't mention Sage yet, but I'll get to Sage. But I'm gonna mention Tails first. Tails brings back a lot of memories like Dark Gaia, Infinite. I kind of wish he didn't, but Infinite was mentioned. And the whole point is that Tails is... At first, Tails felt like he wasn't really a great friend or a great helper to Sonic. He didn't believe that. Until, like, Sonic being the older brother, like, listen, man, you helped me with this. You helped me with the Deadly Six. When we're going to have to remember us all about the Deadly Six again. We're going to... you helped me with... something. The point is, like, he's saying that you helped him with, like, the Deadly Six, or he helped you with the Sonic Heroes and all that shit. That you broke me out of prison. You saved Eggman's you prevented Eggman's missile from attacking the town. Like, basically that wholesome moment. And at the end, after you defeat the boss, not really. Not yet. But like. Before you fight the boss, like him and Tails had this whole moment where like, obviously Tails is gonna grow to become a better person, and the idea was Tails is gonna leave. Like, he's not okay. Tails gonna, like, live his own life. Sonic is gonna he's gonna grow to become a better person, and they have this wholesome moment where Sonic's like, I'm gonna miss you and all that, and hopefully, and you've grown so much and all that, and like, they're having that wholesome moment, and I think that's gonna be the main story for the next Sonic game, where Tails grows older, Amy, all of them, like, split apart, and they become their own people, and then they reunite and something happens, and yada yada. You know how the story goes, but the main story about this was not only just them, the biggest one being Sage. That's the new character. Sage is, at the time, you would think that Sage was introduced as, like, this character that was supposed to generally did not like Sonic and claimed that Sonic is evil, that he's destroying everything, and that he's gonna destroy the evil menace from destroying the world. And apparently she's like the fucking predictor head ass, because apparently she keeps saying, like, Sonic, your chances of things that you're trying to do, it's at 0. You will die. You're gonna die. Like, that's basically her whole thing. Like, this thing, I know the future, and stuff like that. And she had great character development, because at first you would think that, oh my god, she's just this menace. She's just got the menace. But Sonic was the only one who was like, there's something about her that's kind of off. And it turns out, Sage was trying to protect Eggman. Now, again, it sounds bad until you realize that apparently Sage is Eggman's daughter. What? Where the fuck did that come from? But yeah, Sage is Eggman's daughter, and during that scene of Sonic and Tails Sage is talking to herself, obviously hiding, talking about like, this is what family feels like. It's kind of unfortunate that they're gonna end up this way, and she starts crying a little bit, and then her thing turns blue because she's really, in reality, she is a good person at heart, and I guess I don't know what the fuck that means. I guess that means that when she turns blue, that she means she feels happy. Maybe, I don't know. I can't tell. Shut up. But that was the whole idea, and all Sage wanted was a family, and she believed the only way the world would be safe if Eggman teams up with Sonic, which ends up happening at the end, which is why, before I address, I'm gonna say this: they did a good job with character development to Sage. Like you went from not really liking her, like, okay, I'm gonna kick your ass, to, that's confused. She's very confusing, to, oh my god, I feel bad. I want to protect her at all costs. During the tower scene in the fourth world, Sonic is apparently as Sonic keeps doing. Okay, well, let me address this. During the whole story, Sonic basically got stuck and like gets hit by these weird like digital things, and it corrupted his body around the tower to the point where apparently he's stuck from reality to digital. Like, when I mean, like, even though his friends came back to the real world, but he is like stuck there. Like, he's gone. He's supposedly dead. He's a statue. And then apparently My Little Pony came in and fucking pulled a friendship out of our asses. Like, we must do this for friendship. And Sonic gets resurrected, and what the fuck? And Sonic is now cooperating with Eggman, and I will say that I did like that little scene where Eggman's like, "You're too slow. Here, I found the amber for you." And it's like, thank God. And then you fight the boss and all that, and this is where, again, I mentioned that around World 4 and 5, this is where things fell off a cliff, and all these things I did not like. I will admit, it was kind of random that I don't know, we just say, oh yeah, Eggman has a daughter, which is like, you know what, fine, I'll live with that. What I don't understand is, what the fuck was this whole idea of, hey, Sonic is stuck? That was honestly, me and my friend mentioned that, and I'm glad he did. That was a missed opportunity, where they could literally just make us play as Eggman, Amy, Knuckles, and Tails, and then something happens to save Sonic, instead of just doing that stupid My Little Pony thing. But it didn't, and the boss there was very disappointing. But the whole fifth world was heavily based on Sage and how much she wants to save the world. And she wants to save her world and protect her dad, which is Eggman. And that's what happened. You do what you gotta do. Again, the world kind of sucked. Again, there's really nothing. It was like a nothing burger on there, like the last one. And the bots came in, and I was excited. I was like, okay, so maybe this boss is gonna be very fucking difficult, judging by the other bosses. No, that was probably the easiest boss I've ever faced, and that's like the second to last boss. That was very lackluster. It had cool ideas, but it's very lackluster. And again, the visuals look great, and then you go up to space, and apparently, Sage finds out the guy's retarded. She turns into like the robot. And you beat the boss, but he's going to destroy the world again, and then Sage just dies. Sage sacrifices herself, and she just dies. So they took a whole character development of the entire game and fucking put that down the garbage bin, and not even that, put it in the garbage bin, put it to the toilet, and flushed it. Like, what? That was a waste of a character development. Like, I hate when I don't like it when shows, movies, and video games do that shit where they introduce a new kid. Some of it can work. So I'm not saying no, they shouldn't do it all the time, but there are some times where there is you establish a new character, someone people generally like, and try to feel, and people feel like, oh, this is gonna be a good character going down the road, and you just fucking killed her, and you just fucking kill them, and like it's nothing. Like, and I know people are gonna say, well, that happens all the time. Listen, I get it. That can work. Red Dead Redemption 2, Red Dead Redemption 1. They introduce a character. Red Dead Redemption 1, they introduce John Marston. He dies. I get that. Red Dead Redemption 2, they introduce Arthur. Arthur dies. But guess what? They made the story to the point that it made sense and you felt sympathy and you felt sad hearing you're seeing your favorite character die. They don't do that. Not everyone is able to do that. Like this whole stage character development, the character development wasn't like, oh my god, I feel sympathetic for the character. Oh my god, if she dies, I'm gonna cry. No, I mean like, no, please keep her alive. Now since she's died, I'm like, bro, that was a waste of a character development. Like that's the problem because you made this weird because we never knew anything about Sage. There was anything like any Easter eggs about Sage, none of that. She was introduced into that game and she just dies. So, like I said, the story was great at first and then kind of fell off down a cliff. But I will say the ending was somewhat wholesome because now you know that they're going to be splitting apart and they're going to be living their own lives. But it's just like, it's like, come on, man. Another thing I want to briefly mention is their comeback, the fight. You know, the fight. I'm not talking about like the spin dash you see in the world. I'm talking about like the general like punch you, kick back fights. That's fun. That's very fun. Very janky, super janky. It's pretty damn janky, but fun. I actually enjoy that. I want them to keep doing that as the year goes by because I really love that like freedom of beating people up and the skill tree too is fantastic. I fucking love the skill tree, man. Like because I feel awarded for getting skill points and I can do these cool moves to bosses and enemies and all that. And you can level up your defense, your attack, how many rings you can collect, and speed. And I'll admit I kind of went to not max already with the attack, so maybe that's why the bosses were too easy. Maybe, just maybe. But I really feel like even so, it wouldn't have been that hard anyway. But that's neither here nor there. Skill tree was great. Now keep that in mind. Pros, open world, a good open world, good amazing soundtrack, great combat style, skill tree, and the levels. And don't forget, and big and fishy with big. Listen, I hate big. I do not like this. I'm very controversial opinion. I don't like big. I do not like him. But I will say, I enjoy fishy with him. I did enjoy that. I got some random shit. I got like different types of fish I never expected to get. I got a toilet. Hell, I even got a fucking tire. I was waiting for seeing underwear coming out of nowhere. But I enjoyed that one. The cons of this game, janky. The fight style is a little bit janky. Very disappointing ending. I guess it's both waste of a character development and the camera angle. So you can see there's definitely a big pros and big cons of this game. But as a result, if you were gonna tell me what I believe of this game, you guys think is it worth the $60? I will say yes. I believe it is worth the $60. Sonic Frontiers is definitely one of the despite the issues, Sonic Frontiers is definitely one of the best Sonic games we had in a while. I do recommend whoever don't have the game to get the game. You're guaranteed to have a good time. And despite that there's a bunch of problems, I do believe this is a message from Sega saying, hey, we're going to do something different in the future. And I hope they do. But what I can tell that the reason why they went a little janky and all that is because they wanted to keep it safe. To be honest, I've thought about it many times. I kind of wish, if you were going to make someone die, hear me out. I do kind of wish they kind of do this thing where Sonic dies, then in the next game, then the next supposedly Sonic like adventure game end up being about a different character like Tails or something. Like Tails gets his chance to shine and all that. Maybe that. Like I feel like if they could have done that, I feel like that would be even better. But they didn't. So we've been dealing with Sonic for a while, which perfectly fine by me. But I do believe this is a step forward. I do believe this is a worthy game, and despite the bad thing, I do believe that this is a very solid game. So as you can tell, Sonic Frontiers is ... Get rid of the dots. Sonic Frontiers is a very, very good game. Percentage-wise, I'll give it a 79%. Scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. And there it is. Sonic Frontiers. Great game, very good game. Definitely recommend you guys having it. My name is Benito Jr. 0408, and I'll see you later.